Have you ever had someone tell you how much they miss you, but they haven't really been putting in an effort to see you? Or have you been dating someone for a couple of months who they say they really like you, but they're not helping the relationship move forward by introducing you to their friends or their family? We can waste a lot of time in our dating lives by letting other people's words confuse the heck out of us. But the good news is you can start saving yourself a lot of time by cutting through the BS and bottom lining their actions. Hello friends, my name is Maria and I spent almost 20 years wasting a lot of my own time by listening to what people were telling me instead of sitting back and observing their actions. That is until the day I took a moment to sit down, paint my nails, and go over my relationships of the past, realizing, you know what? Something doesn't add up. And when I finally figured out exactly what that was, I was able to see how people felt about me through their actions, not just hearing nice things that they would say. So if you're experiencing a lot of dating confusion, then grab a bottle of nail polish. Let me know in the comments what color you are showing your self-love with today, and let's talk. Welcome to The Other Half, where we know attraction is not just about looks. We also have to take care of the inner half, because you never know what's going on inside of you that might be accidentally sabotaging your relationships. And as much as it sucks to say it, believing what people say 100% of the time and giving them the benefit of the doubt isn't always the best thing that you can do for yourself in your dating life. I'd like to give you a couple of examples of people who say one thing, but their actions mean something totally different. And then at the end, I would also like to give you an example of something I used to say to the people I was dating, but they knew better. They could tell by my actions. One way I used to get really confused when guys' actions didn't match their words is when we would go out on a first date and I had a great time and I thought he had a great time too, because he would tell me at the end of the date that he had a great time. And I'd be like, we should do this again sometime. And he's like, yeah, totally. We should definitely do this again sometime. And then we never did it again because he never asked me out on a second date. Now, back then, I had a lot of confusion and fogginess in my dating world because I had a lot of my own insecurities and attachment issues. Not only that, but I was always second guessing myself. If my gut was telling me something, I was always second guessing it. And I guess I put way too much weight on things that guys would say to me without looking at their actions. He said he had a great time. He said we should do it again, but he didn't ask me out for the second date. I have no idea why at that time that was so confusing to me, because looking at it now, it seems so simple. He didn't want to see me again. Maybe he did have a good time, but there was something about the date that told him he didn't want to continue a dating relationship with me. Now, what I used to do was confuse myself even further by continuing to initiate texts and ask the guys out on more dates. And maybe they would actually even accept another date with me. But it didn't mean that they liked me. They probably just liked having something to do on a Saturday night besides sitting at home alone. And yeah, things can start to get really confusing. And not only that, you're investing more and more of yourself into that guy. That's why I say just stop all of it. I tell women a lot of times, you have to sit back. I know it's hard. I know it's anxiety inducing. It is so hard to sit around to wait to see if someone you likes you back. But we have to stop filling in those gaps just because we're feeling anxious. Allow the guy that you want to date the time and space to think about, evaluate things, and decide whether or not he wants to see you again. You know why that's okay? Because at the end of all of it, not only will you reduce your own anxiety, because there won't be any more confusion. If he doesn't ask you out on the second date, it sucks, but it will reduce your anxiety in dating in the long run because you don't have to be confused anymore. It's also okay because you finally start to sit with the knowledge that if a guy doesn't want to see you again, he's just not the guy for you, and you absolutely do not want to be in any kind of dating scenario with a guy who is not really excited to see you just like you're excited to see him. Here's another example of something that would benefit you to watch for when someone's actions don't match their words. It's when somebody tells you how much they want to see you, but they're not making an actual effort to see you. They tell you they miss you, but they're not getting off their butt, getting in their car, and driving to you. This is a huge mistake I used to make in dating all the time. I was always the driver. And you might not realize this when you're doing it. It might seem very simple, like, oh, you just get in your car and drive over to somebody's house and then you get to see the guy you like, and that's great. Except it's not, because what you don't realize is you're actually making little investments into that relationship that they aren't making. So at the end of the day, if the relationship doesn't work out, you're the one that loses the most, because you have invested your time, your gas, your energy, driving to their house all the time without them making the effort to meet you halfway or come to see you. Someone who really likes you doesn't mind making the drive over to see you. Someone who really likes you and is serious about you does not care if you live with your parents or your grandparents or roommates, etc. That's one of the things I hear the most from people. Like, oh, it's easier to go to their house because I live with my parents. Yes, and maybe you could potentially have a much better time that way. But you know what? When relationships last a long time, there are going to be nights where you do not feel, you've had a long day at work, you don't feel like driving over to that other person's house. Wouldn't it be nice if they just hopped in their car and came to see you? If they will not do that, if they say, oh man, that sucks, I really wish I could have seen you tonight, but they're not getting in their car and actually making the drive over to do it, even if it's just sitting on your parents' couch and watching TV. Guys who have liked me in the past have had no problem doing this. We never did it all the time. There was plenty of times I went to see them, but I wasn't the only one doing it anymore, and they didn't care about greeting my dad if they were serious about me. Quick story, there was this one guy I was dating who would tell me all the time how much he liked me, but he lived an hour away. Now, he lived in a bigger city and there was more stuff to do there, so when we first started dating, I certainly didn't mind driving over to his place because we just had access to more fun restaurants and clubs and things like that. But after a couple months of seeing him, I had weekends where I didn't feel like doing all that driving. So one weekend, I was kind of tired and I was like, enough of this. And I just texted him and I was like, you know what? My car's on the fritz. I'm not going to be able to make the drive over to see you this weekend. And gosh, didn't he certainly tell me what a bummer that was. And he was really looking forward to seeing me and how much he missed me. Now, you and I both know that he had the weekend free because he thought that he was going to see me. He thought I was going to drive over there. But do you think he got off of his couch, left his house, hopped in his truck, and drove the hour to see me? He could not be bothered. Those actions told me everything I needed to know. And this bothered me. So for the next 2 weeks, I told him that I was kind of busy. I mean, if he could come see me, that'd be great, but I wasn't going to be able to make the drive to see him. And again, for the next 2 weeks, he did not make the drive to see me. But he would tell me how much he was disappointed, how much he missed me and wanted to see me. So after a month, I did drive out to see him. We were dating. I wanted to see him. And do you know, when I got over there, one of the first things he said was, oh, I'm so glad you could come see me this weekend. I swear if I had to wait any longer to see you, I would have had to hop in my truck and drive right over. What a total crock. That guy had a month to hop in his truck and just drive right over. A month. He chose not seeing me for a month over making the hour-long trip to drive over to my neck of the woods. Are you kidding me? How much do you think that guy really missed me? How much do you think he really valued me? He didn't. And big surprise, that relationship went nowhere. But you know what? The people that I have dated haven't always been the perpetrators in the situation. Oh yes, there have definitely been times where my actions did not match my words in dating. Here's one of the biggest examples. There was a guy that really liked me and I had totally friend-zoned him. We were friends. I was not interested in anything romantic with him. And there was a certain club I used to like to go to, and He would always ask me about, oh yeah, we should go. And I'd always sort of make up an excuse like, yeah, if we can get a group together, maybe if we can get more girls to go, yeah, totally, we can go. Whatever. I was still going to that club, and he could see that I was going to that club because I was blasting it all over my social media. So even though I was telling him like, yeah, we should definitely do this sometime, it's kind of like that second date, right? A guy says, yeah, we should totally do this again, but they don't ask you out for that second date. I was doing the same thing, like, oh yeah, we should definitely go to that club sometime. And then I never invited him to come with me. I wasn't interested in him. My actions didn't match my words. Here's a big way my actions didn't match my words. I would start talking to a guy I liked, and I think I was trying to convince them just to give me a chance because I didn't have a lot of self-confidence. And one of the things I would always say was, oh, I'm not looking for a serious relationship. Oh yeah, I totally just want something casual. They didn't believe me for a second because the moment we started Netflix and chilling, hooking up, whatever, I started blowing up their phone. Texting them good morning, texting them good night, asking them how their day was, telling them little things that happened to me throughout my day. I was acting like a serious girlfriend, even though I was telling them that I didn't want anything serious. And it's kind of sad that I felt like I had to try to trick guys into dating me, like, oh, I won't ask too much of you, I just want something casual. I wanted someone to love me, just like we all do. And I was afraid if I told them the truth, they would run away from me. But they left anyway. They were not fooled one moment because my actions did not match my words. And if we cannot show up as our genuine selves in relationships, and we cannot be honest about who we are and what we are looking for ourselves in our lives, it feels icky and it scares healthy people away. They're not interested. But if you are interested in how to navigate your dating life with a healthier, happier mindset, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Share this video with a girl you know who's struggling with dating, because goodness knows I wish I had known this stuff years ago. If you find yourself in a dating scenario where you're like, that person's actions never quite match their words, then you know it's time to take that relationship and drop it like it's hot. My name is Maria Adriana. You did not have to live my life, but I certainly hope you can learn something from it. As always, thank you for visiting.